Hello, I'm asking for advice. For some time now, I've been plagued by anxious thoughts that I'm going to have a heart attack, that I'm sick and I don't know what it is, that when I die, I'll create a problem for the children. We live in different countries. I constantly measure my blood pressure. I'm treating hypertension. My partner is disabled and I take care of him. At home, I do everything myself for understandable reasons. In the evening, the house is under control because if something happens to me, when strangers come over, everything should be tip-top. I constantly think about the children so that nothing bad happens to them. I call them, write messages. If they don't pick up after the second call, I go into the movie. I understand that this makes them nervous and annoyed, but I can't get rid of these thoughts. I've never had mental problems. I'm an energetic person. Maybe people become more sensitive with age. Do I need a psychologist? I want to get rid of these anxious thoughts. I want to think optimistic. I'm trying, but somehow I can't seem to get it. Thank you.
What you just heard is the voice of someone carrying an absolutely immense weight. And if any of that sounds familiar, you know it's a feeling that's both deeply exhausting and profoundly human. So today, we're going to unpack these feelings, not as some flaw that needs to be fixed, but as a completely natural response to a system that's just overloaded.
Let's get one thing straight, right from the very beginning. If this story resonates with you at all, please hear this. You are not broken. You are not failing. What you're feeling is your mind and body reacting exactly as they're supposed to when a system is pushed way beyond its limits for way too long.
Just take a second and look at this list. Any one of these things, on its own, is a major source of stress. But when you start stacking them one on top of the other, day in and day out, you end up with this state of constant, chronic pressure. It's not about one single problem, it's the sheer cumulative weight of all of it. This isn't just a to-do list, it's a list of constant, round-the-clock vigilance.
So this is the crucial takeaway right here. The anxiety itself isn't the real problem. It's a symptom. It's like that warning light flashing on your car's dashboard. It's there to tell you that the engine, your nervous system, has been running in the red for far, far too long. It's a sign of profound exhaustion, not some kind of personal weakness.
Now, while all these feelings can seem totally chaotic and overwhelming, the good news is that the engine driving them, it usually follows a really predictable pattern. And when we can actually see that pattern, well, that's when we can start to find our way out. So let's take a look at how this cycle actually gets built.
The experience that was described fits a pattern we call health anxiety, and just giving it a name can be incredibly powerful, It takes it out of that scary, isolating place of I'm going crazy and puts it into a much more manageable box of this is a recognized human experience. It's a very specific kind of fear, all focused on the body and what might go wrong with it.
This really breaks down the whole process. So it all starts with a scary what-if thought. Now, your body can't really tell the difference between a scary thought and a real-life threat, so it hits the panic button. Your heart might start racing, your muscles get tense. To shut off that alarm, you do something, a compulsion, like measuring your blood pressure. And for a second, it works. You get this little hit of relief. But here's the trap. Your brain just learned that checking is the only way to feel safe, and that just makes the urge to check even stronger the next time the thought comes. And boom, you're stuck in a loop.
So seeing the cycle is step one. The next step is learning how to gently, and I mean gently, interrupt it. This isn't about getting into a fight with your anxiety. It's about taking small, smart steps to get back a little sense of control over your actions, not your thoughts.
And this brings us right back to the central question from that original post. It's a question that so many people in this situation ask themselves, usually with a lot of fear or uncertainty attached.
The short answer is yes, absolutely. It would be incredibly helpful. But let's be really clear about why. It's not because you're ill. It's because you're carrying a chronically heavy load. Think of it like this. If you were going on a really difficult, exhausting hike with a huge backpack, you might hire a guide. Not because you're broken, but because the guide can show you a better path, help you adjust the straps, and make the whole journey more manageable. That's what a good therapist does.
So what does that better path actually look like? Well, it's definitely not someone telling you to just think positive. We've all heard that one, right? It's like telling someone in a hurricane to ignore the rain. It just dismisses the reality of what you're feeling. A much, much more helpful approach is to first acknowledge the thought. Like, okay, I see you, scary thought, and then gently delay the action that follows. That one little shift is the huge difference between fighting your brain and retraining it.
Okay, so here's a really concrete first step. Instead of measuring your blood pressure every single time that fear hits, you decide ahead of time to do it only at specific times, maybe once in the morning and once in the evening. Period. This starts to break that automatic link between the scary thought and the compulsive response.
And it's the exact same idea with the urge to call your children. When that wave of panic washes over you, just try to create a tiny pause. Tell yourself, I'm just going to wait 15 minutes. In that small window of time, you are teaching your brain a massive lesson that you can survive the feeling of uncertainty. You can tolerate the discomfort. The world does not end if you don't get that immediate reassurance.
And this one is a really powerful tool you can use anywhere. When that thought screams in your mind, what if I have a heart attack? You don't have to argue with it. You just add a little label. You say to yourself, I am noticing that I'm having an anxious thought that I might have a heart attack. See what that does? It creates a little bit of space. It separates you from the thought. It turns it from this terrifying truth into just a thought, an event happening inside your mind.
Now, as we start to wrap up, I want to offer one last really crucial way to reframe all of this. We've talked about anxiety as an overloaded system, as a cycle, as something to manage with new habits. But what if we look at where it's all coming from? What's the source?
I want you to just sit with these questions for a moment. Really think about it. In a life that is so completely dedicated to taking care of other people, a partner, your children, your home, where is the space for any of that care to flow back to you? So often, this intense anxiety is really just the voice of your own unmet needs, screaming out for rest and support and care.
And this is just so important to understand. These catastrophic thoughts, they feel like predictions, don't they? Like you're looking into a crystal ball and seeing the terrible future. But they're not. They are simply an expression of a very deep and very valid fear. The fear of what would happen to the people you love if you weren't there to hold everything together.
And this is really what it all boils down to. The fact that you worry so much, that you check on things, that you try so hard to control everything. It actually shows that you are deeply in touch with reality and with what's at stake. This isn't a malfunction. It's a measure of your love and your powerful sense of responsibility. The fear of loss is so immense simply because your love is so immense. And maybe, just maybe, the first step to quieting that fear is to finally turn a little bit of that powerful love and care back toward yourself.